Hello, it's Prince Easy, and as usual, let's get to the stuff, right? So let's begin with the pictures, and like I said in the last video, that we're gonna talk about all of this, talk about the comet, and as usual, the name of the comet itself, and the whole thing that it's happening during the eclipse, right? So we're going to talk about it, and of course the assault on meat does not stop, and pigs seem to be the target, right? Now, this is not a new thing, for those who cannot read Bantu or Kiswahili. It says here in the title, and this is from the BBC Swahili, as you can see, right? It says scientists have implanted a kidney, a pig kidney on a human, right? So how do they do this? How do they grow a human organ inside of a pig, right? Now the previous experimentations were mainly focused on other organs. I remember they did one with a rat, and they got an ear, right? And there's a footage out there of this rat with this human ear. And then, of course, the main subject seems to be the pig, right? The pig. Uh, this is in defiance of scripture, of course. They want to say, like, Jesus saw these creatures as filthy, but I say this: he saw those creatures so powerful that they can carry you. They can carry our cross. So I think it's a kind of respect, right? They literally took the cross of a person who was suffering for a long time, who couldn't even be tied down because he had a legion of demons inside him. And that cross and the entirety of that punishment was carried by the pig. So it's an honor, okay? It's an honor. But of course they want to use that as their banner, as usual, right? The four angels released from the Euphrates, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and people don't think there's something afoot here, right? There are two separate groups, but people still keep confusing them. I'll do a thing about them, the horsemen, right? So either way, let's not lose our way, right? So I remember the last year, I think, they did the heart, right? They implanted the heart inside a pig, and apparently this heart was functional, right? So, like I've said, how do they do it? So this is all genetics, right? The Pandora's box, okay? The Pandora's box. To some is a gift, to some is a curse. So they go into the pig's genetics, right? They take out information, okay? Location, I don't know, any characteristics that are exactly what makes a pig's kidney, right? And they input human information inside the pig, right? So they're just telling you that these things are possible. Okay, so here in Africa, one of the most famous series is the Chinese one. It has a monkey, a pig, a monk, right? And a demon, a fish demon, right? And they are going on a journey to the west, right? That's the name of the series, Journey to the West, right? And it's a thing that has been lingering, but trust me, they can make people with pig faces, but the vessels inside these creatures are not holy, okay? They're not holy. They have crossed the line, right? That cup of evil has overflown. Okay, that's the time that we are, and they do not intend to put a break on it. So, so for the people who are getting these organs, are they 100% human, or 100% or 50% human? Or, well, it's a mutation. It's a mutation, and I don't know how, because if you take one organ and implant it to another person's organ, the system of that receiver treats that organ as an enemy, and it attacks it to make it dysfunctional. Okay, now I don't know what they will do to you in order for you to receive a mutant. Okay, because this is not a normal kidney. Okay, it's a hybrid kidney. So you have a kidney of a pig and a human, okay, by varying degrees, but that is patent technologies, the ratios and the whole thing, okay? But it's safe to say that the appearances are close enough. Okay, they were anyway. So yeah, this is them crossing the line to bring forth Armageddon. Okay, and this is furthermore crossing of the line, crossing the Armageddon. Okay, now what does this thing say here? It says that all of those sports, people playing sports in Babylon, okay, I've had a long suspicion, because all of my youth I've been doing sports, I've been doing sports, like serious sports, to a degree that it deformed my legs, taper, okay, but I know people who have worse deformities just to conform to the sport, right? To conform to the sport, their legs have changed, even mine have changed to conform to the sport, right? That's how much I've played the sport. And it has always been in the back of my hand that, like, these people they are not normal, especially the players over there in England, yeah, or in Germany. They are not normal. They are all doping. They are all doping. Their strength is just too much. Okay, and for us, we only just when we have discussions about what's really lacking when it comes to stamina in our players, and we think that it's perhaps exercises or whatever, but believe me, it's doping. Okay, all of these people use energy enhancers, right? They use energy enhancers. Okay, that's why they are able to perform like that, you know. And it's a thing, and it's a secret. And now they are coming out in another way to say that, okay, now we have seen, we have these world records, right? And now they are trying to, like I've said, they won't stop. They'll push the boundary, right? They'll mutate a person, okay, because doping is inefficient, right? It causes problems, and why not skip the whole thing and just enhance the muscle density and the reflexes, eh? Maybe splice a cheetah in there somewhere, right? This is the type of thinking they have, right? And you know, maybe give the muscle density of a horse to a person's legs, you know, and things like this, you know. And that won't be enough, right? Genetics won't be enough, because with genetics you can go so far, right? Before you just turn a person into a horse, right? Before you turn a whole person into a horse. And then there's just a horse, okay? So what then? Robotics, okay, robotics. So sports is going down the drain, because doping has created an environment of like people trying so hard to attain things fairly, while the system is rigged, you know, and it's unfair, really, because we are competing in the same categories, and we are expected to perform like these doped up players and stuff like that, you know. It's kind of like that Shaolin soccer movie, right? Those people who were jabbed with that black stuff made them superhuman, right? But still they were defeated because of their spirituality and stuff like that, you know. So these things are symbols, and they're not jokes, okay? They're not jokes. Okay, that movie, you can look at the sponsors of that movie, like, you know, big brands like Coca-Cola. I don't know if it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi. So like the agenda has to be in there, right? So the Shaolin Soccers were, those are like Israel, and the enhanced are, you know, but the whole story, it tells itself really, if you have a proper perspective of what really scripture says about the future, right? So you find the prince in there, you know, and you find a lot of things pertaining to scripture in the same movie that we all laughed about, called Shaolin Soccer, and we thought like, yo, this is like over the top type of movie. It's over the top because it's a spiritual movie, and trust me, the spirit realm is over the top more than any movie can ever capture, right? It's like weird and just over the top, let's just say that, okay? So here they're just presenting you with the idea to make you comfortable with the idea, right? And sooner or later, people will start using these, they'll call them legal enhancers. They have legal enhancers, right? Those energy drinks, those drinks they consume, right? They have energy boosters in them. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Things like caffeine and stuff like that, you know, things that are in other sports like marathons are actually illegal, but you know, it's allowed because they are trying to push an agenda of basically mixing iron and clay, right? Because clay is not enough, you know, they have to mix iron with clay. Okay, so now we are just in this small phase that we have to like really understand where we are, and it's really about creating animal-human hybrids, animal-plant hybrids. Okay, these things are possible. Okay, but the Rubicon, or the crossing line in this flesh and flesh mixing, okay, mixing of animals and humans, will be crossed when they mix humans and plants, okay, or animals and plants, yeah. Just like a person having a rose grow out of their back or something like that, you know. And then the next phase will be that, you know. People won't like, you know, and they'll just mix themselves with half machine, half human, you know, but it will be more like quarter human, half quarter and a half robot. And there is the trouble, my people. And it's gonna get there really fast. Remember, this is Operation Warp Speed, okay? We talked about mutant rice. Literally, a few days they came out to have damage control over the thing. They say, we have made mutant rice, look, right? Mm. Again, this idea of mixing and comparing humans with other animals, you know, they say this, you know, you can take a kidney from a pig and give it to a human. It's the same. It's the same. No, 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 nigga, no. It's not the same, nigga. You know. So all of these experimentations on monkeys do not equate in any way to the human mind. Okay, there are a lot more components in the human brain than in the monkey's brain, and these people are trying to play dumb with this fake ass science over here, trying to like say some, you know, that's what they're saying, you know. They're even emphasizing by 90%. Well, this is a lie, and they've been doing this for a long time, you know. They've been making medication using this evolutionary theorem, you know, saying that we have evolved from the same single-celled creature, so there's no, you know, this has been planned for a long time. So there's no effects on us mixing with ducks and having birds as children and stuff like that. There is no problem. That's what they're saying. This evolution idea and what it yields really in the end of the day. And we are seeing the effects right now. So here they're talking about curing alcoholism in humans, but their trials are monkeys, and the same thing as what Elon Musk did, right? Okay, so they have been talking about this for a long time. You know, what do they mean by lab grown? They use the evolution theorem as usual. They start with a single cell and it multiplies, I don't know, in 3 weeks or some comes out, a plum of meat. Now, I have so many questions, so many questions. But I'll tell you this, do not eat it, but if they trick you, it won't affect you, right? You'll be covered. But if you choose it within yourself to say like, yo, this is just normal, and you consume this, it will affect you. It will end up killing you, let me just tell you that straight up. It's not safe. It's not organic. Meat is just meat. It's enough. It's meat. Right? And we all know where meat comes from, and they're trying to redefine that, you know, and people should be talking about this and whatever these cowards are trying to do. Okay, why don't you come buy meat over here? We have a lot of cows, and they're dying every season. How about you give us money to plant grass here and have to feed the entire world with cows? But nah, you took the harder route. You have to invest in all of this infrastructure for a product that will only work if meat, like the natural meat, is not accessible to people. And trust me, this will be cheap. You won't even imagine. It will be cheap. And that cheapness is just to phase out the real meat. Okay, so all of those meat vendors out there in Babylon, you are done. Okay, you are done. Like I've said, you are done. Right? As usual, we have our friends over here. You know, they're grilling. Why do they? They're grilling over here, veggies and stuff, and just making you acidic as hell, so as they can make you sick, so as they can mutate you. Right? It's a simple process, right? They make you acidic with all of these only plant-based diet. They make your cells acidic, making you very susceptible to diseases that find favor in this acid-rich environment within your cells, and then they present you with a cure. And then you are mutated, and then you're half a bird, half a person. Before you know, you have a robot arm. Before you know, your whole body is a robot except your head. And it's all thanks to these guys, these guys over here. Your friends, you go to meetings and stuff to talk about important stuff. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the whole connection, and these passages here are actually relevant pertaining to things that we're going to talk about, pertaining to the eclipse and stuff, right? So here is the short story, the short version of the story of Jonah, right? So the Lord prepared a fish, a large fish, not just a large fish, but a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And when Jonah was in the stomach, he prayed for the Lord to release him. And of course, the Lord talked to the fish like he talked to the tree. He talked to the fish, right? That's another barrier we're going to talk about, right? I did hint upon it in the past videos, I guess, that at the end of the day, lions are going to end up eating grass. There will be no more killing between animal and animal, right? We won't need to eat meat anymore, but as of now, we need to eat meat. Okay, that's just a sad reality. Yeah. So, the Lord talked to the fish, and it vomited him out, right? So yeah, let's move into the stuff. So this is narrative control, right? So before we get into the eclipse and its entirety, let's begin with I've seen this tying up of Israel and Christianity's fate. That's just the manipulation, the same way the Palestinians have been playing on the Islams and the Muslims. They are playing this game of division and pulling them aside, pulling them on to their cause, right? And in Islam over there, it's like walking. People are volunteering to go fight over there, for the name of their religion. Thinking that it's a religious war. Okay, they'll be massacred. They'll be massacred. Let me just tell you that there'll be a massacre over there, right? Okay, so they are trying to, especially the media, as usual. Yeah, there's a segment, there's a news broadcast channel out there has a segment they call "Praying for Armageddon." You can enter this. You find, I think it's BBC or Al Jazeera, one of the two. Yeah, they have this segment "Praying for Armageddon," and we have these occurrences of this Kenyan pastor coming over here, not Kenyan, but rather a Jewish pastor, coming into Kenya and saying all of these things about backing Israel and their cause and cleansing the nation of whatever, you know. Well, there's no one that can undo your situation, you know, except the Lord Himself. Okay, that authority to tie, I have it, and to loosen, I have it. So you better figure out and try to not to rat your way out of it. Right? So the Muslims are saying that it's a religious war. These people are trying to literally annihilate us, like they have been saying in these conferences, right? They're not doing themselves, they're annihilating. No, no, no. The people are doing the annihilating. The people who say that they are against the people who are undertaking or planning the annihilation. I hope I'm getting through, right? So I just come to a stage and say, I'm planning to kill Muslims, right? And then, in turn, Muslims pick up arms, not to fight me directly, no, 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 no. Just a couple of innocent people. And they think, we are fighting a jihad here. We are fighting a righteous war. Nah, you're lying to yourself. And the Christians are being pulled into the Israeli side by thinking that those people are the chosen people. Right? That's why they have these activities and operations in Africa, you know. One side they say the Africans will be excluded in the next world, and now they're saying Israel is coming into Africa, and this side they're saying the black people are the biggest threat to the Israeli community. Now, like, look at the situation that we are in, you know, and I can prove all of these three statements that I've just made. I can prove them easily, right? Footage is out there. You just have to look for it. Okay, and these people are not talking in secret, they're talking in conferences. You know, like the comment this woman made about the black people being the biggest threat to Jews. Not Nazis. Black people were never Nazis, nah. But black people. Okay, Netanyahu over here saying Israel is coming into Africa. You know, what do you think that's about? That's about war. It's not coming for peace, you know. And people have to receive that statement in, you know, perspective is everything, right? You might say something while laughing and still you might interpret it as some sort of joke, but you know, it's serious. Okay? So this white guy who came into Kenya gave some money to this black guy who is now coming here to Tanzania, saying about, I don't know, we are gonna save your stars. You know, I've talked about these type of statements, right? Talked about these type of statements. People who talk about people are stars and this and that, these are witches. Okay, so this guy over here is trying to bring his sorcery over here. I've seen his banners in town. You know, this guy who was given money by the guy who came in Kenya over there, the white, I don't know, Indian or Jewish type of guy. I heard he's Jew, or of Jewish descent, let me say that. So let's talk about the eclipse, right? And most importantly, the interpretation thereof, you know, because for a child, they'll just look up into the sky, the sun is blocked, a thing is just flying by, and their day is just gone. They have just a thing to say, but no, we are adults. We are foolish. Yeah, we have to make up. We have to make up stuff, right? We have to make up stuff in order to find a deeper meaning into a thing in the sky, right? I hear like gunshots. I don't know. Huh? So the eclipse and the interpretation thereof, most importantly, because that's where the mess is, right? So there are groups and ideologies that have emerged, okay, because I've been observing this closely for a long time, okay, since the first people who found about it, I was there, the one who started this whole thing, you know. So the first group are the constellation watchers, right? They say the age of Aquarius is here, right? And the eclipse is it's the connection. There's a connection between the age of Aquarius and the alignment of the constellation, all of them in the sky. There's something spectacular going on with the stars and their alignment, right? And then there's the second group that they say the sign of Jonah. Okay, I call them Bible watchers, right? They say it's perhaps the sign of Jonah because there is some information on constellation that is pertaining to whales. Okay, we shall talk about that. Okay, those are the Bible watchers, and of course we have a new emerging group. Okay, they do not disagree on anything apparently. Okay, but I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. The sword that separates, right? The sword that separates brother to mother, father to son, son to mother, sister, everybody. Okay, and that is the truth. So there's a hybrid theorem going on out there, and that is the Bible people and wizards that watch the stars come together. Yeah? So it all has to do with the whale. Okay, that is the pinnacle of this whole discussion, is the whales, right? And the Bible does say this, that people will be so desperate that they'll be looking for signs, and God will give people the signs, only one sign, and that sign is the sign of Jonah, right? So people have carried that line and went mad with it, and now they are tied together with the whale in the sky, right? So let's talk about the whale in the sky and what the whale is about, right? And this is a simple digest from available, publicly available information. Yeah? So Poseidon is angry, right? Poseidon is angry because there is a queen in Ethiopia that claimed that she was beautiful than any creature, right? So Poseidon is mad, so he sends this creature called Cetus, right? That's the whale, that whale thing that they keep talking about, right? The whale in the sky is on the constellation, right? So he sends the whale to Ethiopia, to the coast of Ethiopia, right? And as we know, Ethiopia, the literal meaning of the word Ethiopia, it means burnt faces, yeah? Black people, okay? The majority of the Ethiopians right now are not burnt, but that's another story, okay? That's another Babylonian story. But originally, like we were over there before most of us ran to the south, okay? So it talks about Poseidon sending this monster into the coast of Ethiopia, yeah? And he caused a lot of trouble, flooding, and just troubles as part of the punishment, right? So the king of Ethiopia, like he thought like, whoa, we are in trouble. We have to like seek a witch, an oracle, right? To tell us what should we do in order to appease the gods, in order for this calamity to stop, right? Yeah? We know the sea played a crucial role in the development of Ethiopia at that time, in the stories, so they say, right? So this oracle says you have to sacrifice the princess, yeah? You have to sacrifice the princess, the daughter of the king. They have to sacrifice them, or else the whole city will be destroyed. That's what the oracle told the king. So all of the people, out of fear, picked up arms, tied up the princess, and they were about to offer him to this Cetus monster, right? So in the action, a half-god, half-person deity, Perseus, I think, swoops in with his flying shoes. Yeah, with his flying shoes, he swoops in and saves the princess. Yeah, and saves the princess, and they fall in love. Yeah, and that's the whole thing, and that's the end of it. Yeah. Well, how does Perseus stop Cetus? Well, he recently beheaded Medusa, and he uses the head of Medusa to freeze or to turn this monster into a rock, right? So that is the story of this whale that Christians are using as a tie-in to the scripture of basically the whale being the sign of Jonah, okay? Pure sorcery, just like you have heard here, right? And now, if you tie that current, if you tie that story to the current situation that is happening right now as me and you are speaking, you'll find out that this whole situation is about sorcery, right? Like I've said before, it's about sorcery, right? So they are planning an attack on Zion on this particular day, okay? Like I've said in the previous video, I remember when I talked about this, I said on that day, pray the most, yeah? Because as I say, this is the war, right? And this is the whale in the sky. This is the whale sent against Zion by Poseidon. Right? And they're going to use that situation, if I were to translate this, right? It's all about the prince, like I've said many times. Not out of pride, not out of anything. It's uncomfortable for myself, but that's all they want. That's their focus. They're like lions, and lions don't hunt like everything. They hunt a specific, right? So it can become in many ways that I can think of, right? Many ways that this can be translated to what these people are planning, right? And I'm not gonna go into it, but We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, we shall see. But if that is the public's consensus, then there is a spell being cast upon Zion, okay? And they're gonna use the Indian, like the Houthis have said, they're gonna disrupt the Indian Ocean situation, right? That is part of the Ethiopian coast, that is part of the Eastern Africa's coast, right? They have the Red Sea in chaos, right? The Houthis are attacking front and center, right? Like the Islam now is the enemy of the entire world, right? This attack on Russia does not look good, you know, does not look good, you know. They can suddenly flip the script on their support of Palestine on this agenda, you know. You know, things like this, you know. So it's a game, and this game is a war, and this war is costly, and people have to wake up to what is going on by having the right information, right? So the literal constellation in their sorcery aligns with what they are doing in the geopolitical theater of warfare against Zion. Yeah? So they're gonna do something in the freaking Indian Ocean over there. Yeah? And somehow this agenda will unfold to them, making me the enemy of Zion and stuff like that. Because more and more it's becoming more obvious, right? And they want this. Yeah, they want this. It's becoming more and more obvious. They want this because they're gonna give you an option. And that option is either align with them or align with myself. And that option is coming. Yeah? It's coming. And it's gonna be in a really hard situation. And it's a test. And it's a test of loyalty, really. Okay? And I know, and I've been knowing that these people are up in arms against me, and you know, it's just another day at the office. Right? So this whole other regards of, I don't know, it making X's, making an X across the US, if you combine the one that happened in August 2017 and the one that's going to happen on April 2024. Apparently they make an X across America, and now I've even heard this Christian channel say that America is the chosen land, you know, like a Christian with a straight face, say that America is a chosen land, you know, because they have these findings and discoveries of Egypt. You know, there's a lot of Egypt over there in America, okay, for most of you who don't know. But again, that is just Roman. You'll find more than Egyptian stuff over there, okay, but in Egypt you'll just find Egypt stuff and a little bit of external influence, but mostly Egypt stuff because it is the first. Yeah? So like I've said in the other statements in the previous videos, like this whole iniquity started with Africa, started with Israel falling, okay, and it spread to Asia, it spread into Europe, it spread into the Americas, and now it's gonna it's coming to an end, okay, and they're trying to bring it back to us. Now we have to like reject it, okay. This is how this spell is working, okay. They want to return that iniquity back into Africa in order to cause that circle to continue. After Africa falls, then it goes back into Asia, and to Asia, then into Europe, then America, then Africa. We have been doing this for a long time, believe me, you. Right? So all I can say about that is that's none of our business. That's not Zion, right? Our business is our kingdom. Focus. Yeah. So the thirst of signs and wonders in this generation will also be. I understand why people are more cautious of people coming out saying that they are so and so. It's fine being cautious. I actually encourage it, but it reaches a point that you have to decide either this person is of the devil or is of God, and let that be that. Okay, let that be your judgment, and that's it. It's all about that free will. Okay, so yeah, that's all I had to share with you. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, General Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.